A long-awaited sequel to Planet of Lana is out now, and I have some mixed feelings about it. I might not have played the original Planet of Lana, but luckily, Planet of Lana II can be played as a standalone title, so I went in expecting a fun and maybe sad story while exploring a beautiful land. Hello and welcome to this episode of Pixel Journey, where we break down a title to see if it's right for you. Today, we will be breaking down Planet of Lana II, a short adventure of exploring a planet being taken over by the evil powered by technology. So let's start with some general information. So the overview of the game is you play as Lana, a young girl in her void cat blob thing named 𝕚𝕚𝕣. Living on a planet being overrun by technology, you leave on a quest to find medicine to reverse the effects of a deadly gas sprayed on one of your family members after she interacted with said technology. The main issue is that each portion of this medicine is deep in a dangerous area. You will need to traverse wintry mountains, swampy villages, and enemy compounds. Each have their own puzzles intertwined with the platforming sections, giving each chapter its own identity. For a lot of the puzzles, you need to make use of both Lana and 𝕚𝕚𝕣's skills. Lana can climb platforms, turn dials, and hack into stolen technology. 𝕚𝕚𝕣 can power down electronic switches and knock down drones for Lana to hack. Combining these two is key to solving the puzzles and progressing through the scenes. So let's start off with the things that I liked about the game. To start, before the gameplay even began, the background was gorgeous. The art is all hand-painted according to the Steam page, and that's one of the best parts about the game. It allowed the world to come alive in the villages filled with people, and you can almost feel the cold and sterileness of the enemy compounds. This bleeds into different zones you visit because they are all really unique. They have their own enemies, allies, and environmental hazards to watch out for. The way the scenes play out reminds me heavily of how the first two Little Nightmares games played, and that really added to my enjoyment of the puzzles and trying to figure out how to solve them, because if you didn't know, I really liked that game. As you go through each part of the game, there will be cutscenes to show more of the story. There is an option to skip cutscenes, and I love it when that's an option. Mainly because there's a lot of missable achievements, so if you're an achievement hunter who is trying to 100% the game, skipping cutscenes that you've already seen in the original playthrough is a godsend. Apart from the opening cutscene, all of the dialogue and in-game writing is in a made-up language, much in the same vein of games like Tunic, and I really enjoy when games can pull this off well, and I 100% think Planet of Lana II does this incredibly well. Even though the characters' faces aren't very detailed, the body language conveys the emotions so well that facial expressions aren't even needed. One thing that is important for story-driven games is pacing and sectioning the story. Planet of Lana does this by dividing the game into chapters. I think this is a great way to make everything digestible, and also, much like in a book, it helps with pacing, giving natural points to pause at. This is also where you will jump stories every now and then. Most of the game is played in the present time with Lana as she hunts down the medicine, but there are also chapters where you will play only as 𝕚𝕚𝕣 and see the side of society where humans and androids live together peacefully. This shows the good and the bad side of integrating technology and greed consuming humanity. Before starting the game, I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to get the full satisfaction of a sequel because I never played the original title. I am happy to report that I was able to understand the whole game and never felt like I was missing some type of context. Now, there might be some Easter eggs woven in that I couldn't see, but for me, that's never a negative. Now that I've covered what the game does well, let's move to things that I didn't quite love. The first thing that caught my attention was the difficulty for me to physically see some of the puzzles. There were multiple aspects of puzzles that were scattered around in the scenes, and it can be incredibly challenging to see the lever or the object that I needed to interact with. Now, there are multiple parts where yellow flowers mark grabbable handles on walls, and this is great. I have no problem with this. It weaves its way into the environment and doesn't look out of place, but it still gives a clear mark to lead the player. I wish this was included for puzzles as well, because there were multiple scenes where something blended into the background so well, I couldn't see that I could interact with it. The second issue I have is with movement. I actually have issues with both characters and how I can or have to move them. Lana can be stubborn when it comes to turning. Trying to get her back up to get an interaction prompt to pop up can be a truly painful experience. There are multiple sections to where you have Lana swimming, and to get out you have to grab a ledge to pull herself up, and the ability to grab the ledge isn't always consistent. The swimming as a whole gets added to my dislike of water levels, but I think everyone can kind of understand that. Lana's clunky movement is only amplified underwater. Being able to move in all 4 directions means that anytime she turns, or God forbid, has to prompt an interaction, feels clunky and sometimes impossible. The lack of smooth movement or slow timing for pulling away boards from a bouldered up pathway or climbing up a ledge resulted in many deaths that I didn't always see as fair. For 𝕽𝕚𝕣, they are controlled through moving a pointer around. They will go to the place if possible, and if not, they will simply sit until you can get them to somewhere they can actually feasibly reach. They have a great jump and can reach incredible heights. They will be the helper to get up to how to reach places, to turn off traps, or open doors for Lana. The main issue is there are many times where I needed to be controlling both Lana while also having 𝕽𝕚𝕣 turn off time-based enemies or lights. This was incredibly stressful because the way you activate 𝕽𝕚𝕣's laser pointer. You actually have to press down on one of the thumbsticks to prompt the laser pointer to appear, and then move it to the location you need 𝕽𝕚𝕣 to go. I would also be so focused on moving Lana away from danger after 𝕽𝕚𝕣 deactivated an enemy, and I would think that I clicked the follow button, but I didn't, and that ended up getting a lot of jump scare death screens for me. This also ties into my last issue, and that is the long and slow death screen and respawn timer. The number of ways you can die is abundant, and that's not a problem in itself. The problem for me is that it feels like an eternity before I can try the game again. I do wish it was snappier, and I think it would prevent a lot of frustration that I felt throughout the game. So let's wrap up the review here. I think the game is fine. I think my expectations were too high, and that maybe I should have played the first game because I was hearing so many good things about it, it might have heightened my thoughts on what a sequel would have. I feel like I got a decent amount of satisfaction out of the game. In terms of recommending it to someone, I think they would need to be more invested in the storytelling compared to wanting a great platforming or puzzle experience. I do wrap up giving this a 2 out of 5 stars, and I think my personal review might have it scored a bit lower than a lot of others simply because of my personal wants from a game like this. But that is all for me for today. I hope you got something out of the review, and let me know what your thoughts are if you've played Planet of Lana 1 or 2. And if you have any recommendations for games that I should review in the future, make sure to leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video or got anything out of it, make sure to give me a thumbs up so I know I did a good job. And if you want to go the extra mile, look around the channel, and if you like what you see, maybe give me a subscribe so you don't lose me in the sea of YouTube content. And with that, I hope to see you in the comments of a future video. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye guys!